Hi, Robin Shades here with streamsofenergy.com, and my guest today is Sarah Stone. Now, Sarah is a pet intuitive, and I'm actually going to let Sarah explain to you exactly what that means. So, Sarah, welcome, and tell the people, what is a pet intuitive?
Thank you, Robin. Well, what I do is basically intuitive healing and animal communication, and what I do is I simply open a healing channel. I start with God and ask him to send in all the right perfect angels, helpers, and healers, and which he does. And I then rarely see my customers in person. They're all over the world.
Wow.
And I rarely see them, maybe a picture every so often, but I could see them in my vision. And first thing I do is I look to see where the angels are sending the healing energy, into what part of the body in the energy field. There's many things we could do at that point as they're doing the healing work, including I like to ask how they feel about life in general. So I have something to gauge it on. They may show me crying, they may show me depression, they may show me very happy or content. However they're feeling overall, I'll get that picture, they'll show me, and then we work with what we have there. And then we can also ask, is there anything that they want that they don't have?
Okay. Now, on a question like that, what kind of anything would they want? Are you trying to see if there's like a certain type of activity or toy or food or all the above?
Whatever it is, and it's frequently quite amusing, but like most recently, a cat was looking for a specific mouse. I could see it was gray, it was rubbery, and it showed me right beside him he was wanting his mouse. And it was eventually found under the stove or fridge or somewhere, but it did get found, but that's what he showed me. I've had dogs show me a certain blanket or a certain person they miss. I mean, I never know what I gotta say.
Right, so it's going to be an adventure every single time.
And then we can also give them information very clearly through the angels.
Back to the animal.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic.
I have asked the angels to speak in detail, which I don't hear what they're saying, but speak in detail of what this animal needs to know. Like mom and dad are going away for the weekend, when they're leaving, when they're coming back, all the details. If they're missing somebody, even though we may not know where they are, the angels do, so they tell them where they are, how well they're doing, not to worry, they could be together again someday. It makes a world of difference.
Oh,
so
I can imagine.
It's unlimited, honestly,
that is fantastic.
what we can do to help them out.
That is fantastic. Now, Sarah, did you always have this gift, or did you kind of come across it by accident?
Pretty much by accident.
Okay.
I grew up on a farm with lots of horses and dogs and cats, and I always knew they had feelings, and I always loved them more than anything. But I was working, actually what I wanted to do originally was learn Reiki to help myself.
Right.
Because I thought I needed a lot of help. And so I did go through clear through to the Reiki master, but I never really used it. And then when I moved out to the West, I gave up 16 years of insurance to do pet sitting. So when I was pet sitting, and I would be with maybe a little fellow who's limping or not feeling well or seeming sad or whatever, I decided to try the hands-on approach. And typically they would look like they're getting better, which to me couldn't possibly be real. It just didn't make sense to me how. So I kept doing it, but my friend would tell me, look, how can you keep saying it's not working? Because look at the differences. So she conned me into starting a little business around town where I go to people's homes, do hands-on, and well, that got old fast because of bending over.
A lot of traveling, yes, a lot of on the ground.
Man, and yeah, so chiropractor visits, all that. So I was working with my life coach, Lori Cloud, for years, but back then she told me, you know, you have to learn to do this at a distance. And when she said that, I thought she was really out of her mind. There's just no way. I could hardly believe hands-on could work, let alone somebody halfway around the world. So she said, you know what? You're going to be guided. Just follow your guidance. So I called my sister up in Washington. I said, do you have any horses with any problems? And she said, yeah, I've got this one with really bad feet, laminitis, extremely painful for a big heavy animal to stand on. So I said, well, you know, just stay on the phone with me. I don't know what I'm doing, but let's just see what happens. And so I did tune into a horse figure, and then I could see, I actually saw angels swarming in.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa. And they were going to all different areas of the body, not even the feet, which I thought odd. But what I noticed they were doing was clearing a lot of energy around the body. Eventually did get to the feet, but
That
long
makes sense.
story short, the next day the horse was prancing out in the pasture and could barely walk prior to that.
Wow.
So even at that point, I was still like, that was a coincidence.
But fortunately, you've had success story after success story.
Yeah.
So you finally believe in it yourself.
Oh yeah, finally. It took years.
Oh, I could imagine.
Even though people would continually call me just from word of mouth, and I'd keep all these notes. I'd have stacks of notebooks, and I would say, why can't you believe this? Because I come from a medical family background. Everything has to be black and white.
Right.
Double-blind studies, and you have to be able to prove stuff. Well, finally, anyway, we're here. I'm 100% understanding that it is just another dimension.
That's it.
They're here to help us.
Right.
And I'm able to tune in and send healing anywhere around the world, which is totally awesome.
That is fantastic. So you don't have to sit in front of Sarah in order to get this healing for your animal, and that is so awesome. One other thing I'd like to touch on quickly, Sarah, before we let you go, is how you're able to help people either when their pet is about to pass or after their pet has already crossed over. If the person is still grieving or wondering, you know, where is my, you know, beloved cat or my beloved dog, how are they doing? You can help them with that too, and I think that is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Once again, we're dealing with just another dimension. And the animals, people, we just move into the next dimension. I've seen it 1,000 times. We don't truly seem to die. We just leave this body and move on and go home, basically. And so I could call on any animal on the other side. I can tune in. I just recently did this for somebody, and I could get all the characteristics and traits of the animal when it was alive, so that the people know
You have the right one.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we can ask questions. Are there messages you want to give your mom and this, that?
Oh, nice.
But it's the most awesome thing. When they cross over, the angels do come get them. They are not alone. They go with the angels, take them on a journey, which is a whole nother story, because that has its own patterns, and it's very fascinating. And
You'll have to write a
go
book
home.
sometime. You
Yeah.
really will, because these are questions that I know anyone who has ever had an animal will have, you know, and maybe that would be a way for you to start. You know, start by taking people's questions, and then you can build a book on that. I think that's a fabulous idea.
Yeah, and also when I do that, connect with the animals, the people are normally so devastated.
Oh, yeah.
Still, that I also always do healing work on the people.
On the people, yeah.
And you could see white light going into the heart. But then recently, I also saw it going into a woman's hips powerfully, a lot of white light.
Wow.
So I called her, because I do all of this off the phone. I said, what's with your hips? And she goes, they've been so painful. I said, you know, I don't think they're going to hurt anymore.
Wow.
Your grief of this cat who she'd been grieving for 2 years, by the
Oh,
way.
my
She had my
goodness.
card for 2 years. She just
Wow.
couldn't get herself to face it yet. But anyway, her hip pain is gone.
That's
because that's where her
fantastic.
grieving was really settled. So that
That
was really
is
fun.
fantastic. Well,
Love
Sarah,
that.
I can see that many people will want to get in touch with you. So how can they get in touch with you? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
My email is sarahstone2@gmail.com. Sarah Stone and the number 2. It's SARAHSTONE 2@gmail.com.
That should do it. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
And I just know anyone who gets in touch with you is just going to be so thrilled that they did. So until next time, this is Robin Shades. Remember, spread love and gratitude.
Find out more today at sarahstoneonline.com.